It's a beautiful Sunday, November 9th, and you're listening to the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind is Oklahoma City's premier casino experience, and there are so many reasons why Riverwind is consistently voted OKC's number one casino, but it all starts with their amazing variety of gaming thrills and excitement. Riverwind's beautiful award-winning environment plays host to more than 2,800 of the latest electronic games with a huge selection of table games, including Blackjack Match Roulette, and Teddy's favorite, Co-Raps. No matter what your game, Riverwind has it in spades and hearts. And to learn more about their gaming promotions and entertainment options, all you got to do is visit riverwind.com. Riverwind Casino, always a good time. Good time on the bye week, Ted?
It was good. Watched some ball, hung out with the family. It was excellent. Needed it.
The entire fan base just catching your breath for the final run, right?
That's right. That's exactly right.
Now, typically we like to have a ton of fun on here, always have a good time, but we did get some horrible OU football news this week. A former teammate of mine, David Driscoll, who played at OU from 2011 to 2014, suffered a heart attack and stroke this week and passed away early Friday morning. And clearly just awful news, but wanted to dedicate this podcast to him and his memory because he was a fantastic dude, Ted. One of those guys that just did anything the team needed him to do to get the team prepared to play. He's one of the hardest workers I've ever been around, which is why he was Scout Team Player of the Year multiple times. He won the Derek Shepard Most Inspirational Walk-On Award. Like, the guy just came to work every day and brought energy and was just a joy to be around. So that was heartbreaking news that we got this week, but just praying for his family, man.
Yeah, brutal news. Saw whenever you put that out there. Hated to hear it, but there's a lot of guys like this on football teams that that kind of become, I don't know, the character or the soul of the football team that, like you said, know that there's not, a big NFL contract down the road for them, but show up day in, day out and do the hard work to make sure that everyone's prepared and ready to play.
I just hope that his family can find some peace, man. It's been a brutal stretch for that family, so I hope that they can find some peace. And that funeral will be on Tuesday, so I expect to see a bunch of guys that played with Driscoll there because he had everyone's respect, man, by the way that he went about his business. So no easy way to transition into the top three keys to OU finishing 10-2, but here we go.
Let's do it.
All right, top three keys to the Sooners finishing 10-2 and going to the college football playoff. We will update the Sooner Nation rooting guide as well. Remember, that is more geared to how does OU make it if they go 9-3. But Ted, I'll let you start. What's your number one thing on your list for top three keys to OU finishing 10-2?
Yeah, for the final three games, I put we need to be +4 turnovers through the final three games. Not a lot of science went into how I came up with +4. I just thought, we need to win it every game, and then it may help somewhere along the line to win it by 2. Okay. So I think that's really been one of the catalysts for us winning some tough games. And like, if we're going to be even, like we're going on the road to play Alabama, fairly evenly matched, maybe you could say that we're at a deficit there with them being at home. Turnovers are going to tell the story if there's a imbalance one way or the other. So we need it to be in our favor. Same thing with a team like Missouri, incredibly dangerous. You can't give away possessions against a team that can run the ball and possess it the way they can. And, LSU, athleticism everywhere. You got to be able to take advantage of some opportunities when you get them. Like, to me, that's the easiest way to put yourself in the best position to go 3-0 is win the turnover battle over the final three games.
Especially when you consider where these three offenses that remain on the schedule are at. Bama really struggling to run the football.
Mm-hmm.
And as good as Ty
Oh, yeah.
Simpson, as good as Ty Simpson is, if you can get him in a bunch of third and longs, that puts you in an advantage from a coverage, from a blitz, like every standpoint defensively. Then you got Missouri. They're playing a freshman at quarterback. And
Third
that's
down, not good.
exactly. So they were really poor on third down this weekend, and he had a lot of moments where he looked like a freshman. Now the key to that is shut down the run game with Hardy and make Zollers beat you. And then in LSU, we just saw Garrett Nussmeier get pulled in that game. They're struggling along the offensive line. They can't run it efficiently either. Get these teams in these third and long situations. Get to your pressure packages, force some turnovers. That's the way that I see it. So that's a great place to start. Finishing this thing off 3-0 over these next three, Ted, is win the turnover battle.
Yeah, I think so. That's the lowest hanging fruit there is, and I grabbed it right off the tree.
Well done, sir. My first one is very specific. Eddie Pierre-Louis has to play well. He has to continue to get better. I love the attitude, the demeanor, the energy he's brought to the group. But this offensive line is going to be the key to this offense being efficient over the next three games and going and scoring some points. Because at this point, I think it's fair to say we are not an explosive play offense, Ted.
Agree.
I think everyone that has watched this team closely would agree. We are not going to run by guys and throw it over guys' heads for 60-yard touchdowns. That is just not what this offense has been, and I do not expect that to all of a sudden become a big part of what we do over these last three. But this is an offense that needs to run it efficiently, needs to get John Mateer in good situations, and that all depends on the offensive line, and I think in particular Eddie Pierre-Louis, because we're about to play some really good defensive tackles over these next three games. Bama's got multiple. Missouri's got multiple. LSU, despite that team's struggles, their defensive line is very solid. And EPL has to continue to get better. He's got to play well. He can't go out there and play a C-plus game and have his technique be all over the place and play winning football against this competition. He needs to continue to improve. And I have no doubt the energy, the effort, the physicality, that's all going to be there. But especially against Bama, like you have to play with good technique against Overton and Smith. You have to, or else they are going to throw you aside like a ragdoll. I've seen it time and time again on tape. So that's where, when you look at the final three opponents' defensive lines, Eddie Pierre-Louis, if he can become like the tone setter and a strong point of this offensive line, then I'm feeling really good about what this group can be as a whole. So that's kind of the guy I have circled is how much better can 55 get the rest of the way?
Yeah. And, I think that going and getting a start on the road and playing an entire football game, then being able to go into a bye week, I don't expect him to come out looking like, some polished, finished product, but I think you can make your biggest leaps pretty early, as raw as he is, by playing that many reps, getting it corrected, getting it coached, and having a little bit of time to kind of dig into those things. So hopefully we see him continue to improve. You're right, though. Like, we know what the baseline level is going to be. It's going to be a bar fight. But if he can come along with some technique stuff, continue to recognize defenses and twists and stunts and stuff a little bit better, he could be a big factor for us.
And teams are going to attack him because they're going to look at the offensive line as a whole and say, okay, which O-lineman should we try to attack? Whether it's creating certain situations with pass rush or designing blitzes to put him in tough spots to pass things off, whether it's twists or different blitzes. they're gonna look at our offensive line and go, we're gonna attack 55.
Yeah.
And
I
how
would
does he
imagine.
handle it? Because he's inexperienced, hasn't played a lot. And then Fasusi and Foje, yeah, they're both freshmen, but they're incredibly talented. So I think I could see Bama, LSU, and Missouri all going, okay, let's design some stuff to see what 55 has got. And I'm excited to see how he performs in those situations. If he
Yeah.
plays at a really high level, man, I feel really good about what this offensive line is going to look like.
Yeah. I feel like, I mean, we always talk about Venable says professional courtesy. Well, if you see three starting freshmen on an offensive line, I mean, don't you kind of have to throw a bunch of different looks and different fronts and 7 up, 6 up, bear, stem late, like all kinds of different stuff just to try and slow them down.
That's all coming.
Yep.
So that's my first. The number one thing on my list is, hey, how much better can EPL get? Is essentially where I'm at. All right, what do you have next on your list?
Number two for me, I guess I kind of builds into that to some degree. We got to continue the 100-yard rusher streak. I think one of the big differences with how we've kind of settled into a high level of play as a football team has been the running game coming along. Started at South Carolina, and I feel like it's getting better and better each week. And I also believe that we're in kind of a transitional period there, whereas an offensive coordinator, you still maybe don't trust it a whole lot. I think by now that maybe has changed, and we can start to see who we are a little bit better as a football team and start to feed off of that and trust it a little more, stay with it a little bit more. If we can continue that streak through the next 3 games and have a 100-yard rusher, even if we don't eclipse the 100 yards with an individual player, if we continue to have good success running the ball like we have, I think that sets us up great.
That clearly has a lot to do with the offensive line and ties into what I said. But I think the tight end position is also a big piece of that.
Totally agree.
Caden Helms, the run game has, when he has been good and when he's been on the field and been good in the run game, that's when the run game has really gone.
That's about when he started playing, wasn't it? South Carolina is the first time we saw some real action.
It's not a coincidence. So if he can continue to get the job done, whether it's the 11 personnel stuff or the 12 personnel stuff, I actually, little sneak peek into Wednesday's pod, I actually think we can get some stuff done against Bama in 12 personnel. We'll go over that on Wednesday. I don't want to sidetrack us here, but I think he's one of the big keys. And then it feels like the run game being efficient and Mateer not having to drop back 35, 40 times. Like with the way that Mateer has played post injury, putting it all on his shoulders and him having to make throws from the pocket just does not feel like a winning formula for this team right now. So I'm with you, man. That the rushing attack has to continue to be good, and wouldn't mind it getting even better,
Yeah, and we've seen all 3 opponents that we're about to face, not struggle against the run, but give stuff up in the run game. Alabama's kind of middle of the road now. Missouri has been ranked really high there, but we saw this weekend that there's some stuff there.
No doubt. All right, the next on my list, I have it just listed as Taylor Wine takes it to another level, because I have no clue how our Mason Thomas is going to bounce back from the injury at Tennessee. Let's just be real. Didn't look good. And at any time you tweak a quad, like I don't know what the timetable looks like for our best player on defense. And even if he's able to go the rest of the way, Ted, it seems unlikely he's going to be close to 100%. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But with that in mind, like someone has to step up and be the disruptive force that R. Mason Thomas has been for this team. And I think it's natural to say, oh, hey, Danny Okoye can step into that role. We could get some more PJ, Marvin Jones Jr. Maybe he can take it to another level. But we've seen the havoc that Wine can create. And he's the guy I'm most confident in being able to take it to another level if R. Mason Thomas just isn't the same guy. So I know Wine's got, 10 TFLs. He's got like 3.5 sacks, 15 pressures. He's having a really good season, man. But I think there's more there. I think he's capable of being a guy that can wreck some other teams' plans offensively. And if R. Mason Thomas can't be as effective as we know him to usually be, then I think Taylor Wine's the guy I look at and go, all right, man, 44, we need you. We need you to go from being really, really good to an absolute problem over these last 3 games.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I'd take it a step further and say that PJ and Danny Okoye, Marvin Jones Jr., we know pretty much what we're going to get with him. He's been incredibly solid all year. But you would, if R. Mason Thomas isn't himself, has to take a smaller workload, or, if he can't go, those guys are going to see more snaps. And we've seen some really nice flashes from both of those guys. They got to bring the consistency and try and pick up some of that slack if he's not there, or even if he is.
If R. Mason Thomas isn't the same guy, then maybe we start seeing some teams game plan more around Wine, and then those other guys you mentioned, those guys will have to step up if that becomes the case. Like if they start chipping Wine in pass protection, if they start double teaming him more in the run game, like those types of things, then yeah, the rest of the group, the rest of that edge group has to step up. But I just think that Wine has been so good up to this point. But if your most disruptive force on defense isn't anywhere close to 100%, like guys got to step up around him. And I think Taylor Wine is capable of being a guy that can really, really disrupt a game.
I totally agree. He's one of those guys that it feels like he's just been, since spring ball, better each week, better effort, better technique, still playing. It's late in the season. A bunch of people are banged up. Like his level feels like it's still increasing, getting stronger, getting more technically sound. The effort is still way up there. He's been fantastic.
And when you look at the last 3 games, Bama's had tackle issues, especially right tackle issues. And Proctor's been a little up and down at left tackle as a pass protector. LSU has had some of the worst offensive line play in the SEC.
Missouri just got chewed up by A&M.
And Missouri, we all watched what that defensive line from A&M did to Missouri. So Taylor Wine, not only is he capable, I like the matchups the rest of the way, man. So yeah. I can't wait to see if he can take it to another level. I think he can.
Yeah.
All right, what's last? What's last on your list?
Last one for me is we have to play blunder-free football. And I got to define that a little bit. Mistakes are going to happen. You may throw an interception. You may fumble. You may give up a deep ball. I'm talking about big, important, unforced errors. The things that come to mind were kind of the second quarter against South Carolina, where we were penalized a ton, gave up which helped result in a punt return touchdown. Ole Miss, we had the penalty on the punt return, which, that whole situation forced us into a safety, and we could have been way better in that situation, had a huge impact on the game. Tennessee, the late interception, right, on first down, 4-minute offense, like those type of plays that I really consider to be unforced errors. It would do us so much good to be out in front of these teams and be able to lean on run game, lean on our defense, and force them to chase us down. You cannot hand people free stuff. People are going to make plays, right? It's not to say that someone's not going to make a play, get to the quarterback, get a sack. Those things happen within the play of a football game. I'm talking critical mistakes, unforced errors, penalties that extend drives that you are mess ups, not something that happens in live bullets. We have to avoid all of those scenarios we can. I think you would probably agree with me that we can be on the field and potentially beat pretty much anyone if we limit these type of plays that have been a problem for us this season.
I think if this team plays a clean game, they can beat anyone in the country.
Yeah.
I truly believe that. But you got to play a clean game, and this team has gotten too many penalties. We all agree on that.
Yeah.
But I think blunders is a great way to frame it. Ted, like, you can't bust coverages. Like the one that happened against Ole Miss.
Yep.
You can't cut guys loose in the end zone. That can't happen the rest of the way.
Happened against Texas.
That can't happen. You can't bust protections along the offensive line. You have to be completely dialed into that stuff. Blunders, you like the ball handling stuff between Mateer and the backs, all of that, that's got to be clean. You have to, if the other team is going to take the ball from you, you have to make them earn it.
Yep.
Can't just hand it to them. You can't muff punts, like that type of stuff. And one of the other things I'm going to put in the no blunders category for you, game management. We have to manage these games well. That's the guys on the field and the people coaching them. Like the end of the Tennessee game. I don't know if that was great game management or not. It seemed like it could have gone differently, you know? Mm-hmm. You have to be dialed in to that component over the next 3 weeks. Like the game management from a player's and a coaching standpoint, it's got to be dialed in. Like John Mateer, if you're at the 30-yard line and it's 3rd and 6, you can't take a 12-yard sack, you know, like stuff like that.
Yep.
You have to, the game management, you have to play intelligent, crisp football from a game management standpoint.
Totally agree. Yeah. That's it for me. I mean, I think that, I don't know if it's a good thing or if it's a bad thing, but we still haven't seen this group go out and show us the full spectrum of what they're capable of, right? We've been in games where there's a bunch of good, but there's these 5, 6, 8 plays that leave you saying, man, if we could just eliminate those, we are as good as anyone out there. But it's continued, and maybe you can talk about different reasons why, whatever. But if you want to finish 10-2 and win these last 3 games, you have to limit those almost to 0. 0 would be great, but that's a big ask. Situationally smart, do the things you're supposed to do. Just don't hand people anything free.
I think the best way for me to put it is, and I don't like that this has become a thing on the radio broadcast, but we need the times I say, what are we doing, to be 0 over the next 3 games.
What are they doing? It's like pointed to the other team is what we need, right?
That's what we need. The other team needs to be making the blunder plays, not
Put
Oklahoma.
The pressure on them. That's right.
Okay, the last thing I've got on my list of the 3 keys to OU going 10-2 and making a college football playoff, I feel good about OU having the best unit on the field the rest of the way. I think OU's defense is better than any unit Bama's got, better than any unit Missouri's got, and better than any unit that LSU's got. But special teams have to continue to be really good for this team. Because if you win on defense and you win on special teams, you're going to feel really good about how the game's going to turn out for you.
If you check and your +4 in turnover ratio and the rest of the way out.
That would be great as well. Yes.
As long as you can, if you win 2 phases, you almost always win the game unless you turn the ball over a bunch.
Right. So Tate Sandell, the pants discussion has made him possibly the most well-known kicker in America. Guys signing autographs at burger joints. I love it. Anyone that's like, oh, we can't let this get to his head. He's getting too much attention. Listen, man. It's hard to make it in the pros as a kicker. Let that man make his cash while he can. He's 18 for 19. He's 7 of 8 from 40, between 40 and 49, and he's 6 of 6 from 50 plus. Let the guy sign some autographs at a burger joint. It's fine. But he's got to continue to be really, really good for this team, because these last 3 games, there is not some big talent gap between our roster and the remaining opponents' rosters. We're probably at a deficit when you just talk about pure talent with Bama, and then the other 2 pretty close, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes when that is the case, the game comes down to special teams, whether we like it or not.
Yep.
And so Sandell's got to continue to be great, and Grayson Miller has to continue to be really good. What's he averaging? Like 47 a punt?
He's been great.
Can't give up big returns the rest of the way. Like, I mentioned it in the blunder section. Isaiah Satania got to be clean as a punt returner. I've just come to accept the fact that we don't return kickoffs. Okay, one less thing to worry about, right? But special teams over these next 3 games can be the difference between this team winning and losing games. And Sandell, Miller, Satania, those guys have to be on it, man. Special teams has to be a strength for this team in order for this team to finish 10-2.
Totally agree. And we've seen that every single unit is capable of really good things. Field goal kicking, punt unit, punt return, is, even though we've had some issues there, it does still feel like we're close to breaking one at any time. And our kickoff coverage team has been really, really good. If we're fair catching everything or not returning it, we're getting it at the 25, and we're tackling people inside the 20 or near the 20 on every exchange. That continues to build in our benefit. That small yardage mounts up over the course of a game.
I feel good about our keys.
I like it.
Let us know what you think about them. Hit us up on Twitter.
We'll go back to the scoreboard after the end of the season, see how we did in the final 3.
Yeah. Hopefully good.
Hopefully
we don't look stupid. All right, let's update the Sooner Nation routing guide. But first, download the Loves app from Loves Travel Stops, your guide to savings on the road. Fill up for less with the discount on fuel. 10 cents off on every gallon of gas and 25 cents off on every gallon of auto diesel. And don't forget, in the store, you can unlock mobile deals on the Loves app to save on snacks, drinks, and select meals at Loves restaurants. Plus, you can plan your pit stops for your next road trip with the map and route planner. All from Loves, the heart of the highway.
Steaks are back. Didi Ranch's luxury steak cuts are restocked and ready to ship straight to your door. From mouth-watering ribeyes to silky smooth fillets, this is the best beef Oklahoma has to offer. And here's the kicker. They're now shipping next day air for free when you use code SOONER at checkout. That's right. Next day air, like Amazon Prime, but for steak. Didi Ranch delivers taste and tradition the luxurious way. Order today at DiddyRanch.com and get your steaks just in time for the holidays.
And we are brought to you by Simple Modern, the Oklahoma-owned company and proud official drinkware partner of the OU Sooners. Guys, it's November in Norman, and that means 2 more home football games where you can grab Simple Modern's limited edition, brand new design drinkware that's only available in the stadium. These also make the perfect holiday gift for every Sooner fan in your life, especially for those who can't make it to a game. I'm telling you, it's the perfect way to cheer on the Sooners. And with 10% of all profits going to charity, many right here in Oklahoma, every sip supports Oklahomans on and off the field. Simple Modern, good everywhere. All right, time to update the Sooner Nation routing guide. Remember, this is the path to the playoff for OU if they go 9-3. Ted, I'm still feeling very good that the Sooners will be in and hosting a playoff game if they go 10-2. Like I feel even better about that after what we saw this weekend.
Yeah, it's there. Yeah, yeah. It's not really worth talking about at this point. We can burn the whole system down later if it doesn't happen.
Yes, fair. But we will. I promise you, if OU goes 10-2 and they're left out of the playoff, you will see us crash out, unlike you've ever seen us crash out on here.
That's right.
That is a guarantee. But if OU does go 9-3, did they get the help? Did they get some help this weekend? So let's look at it now. We talked about in the debut of the Rooting Guide that we need the Big 12 and the ACC to be one bid league. Still hard to say. We got to change it. Be one team leagues. There we go. We're going with one team. One bid is just too hard to say. So the ACC just chaos, Ted. Chaos. Virginia loses. Chandler Morris gets knocked out of the game. They lose to Wake Forest. Virginia now has losses to Wake Forest and NC State. Louisville loses in overtime to Cal. Duke loses to UConn. And the ACC now has 4 teams with one conference loss. Georgia Tech, Virginia, Pitt, SMU, or wait, is that 5 teams? And Duke. Duke's only got 1 loss. They are somehow a 5-4 football team, and they only have 1 conference loss.
Wild.
It was. If OU's going to go 9-3, the ACC could not have helped any more than they did this weekend with how things played out.
Yeah, the losses are good, and none of them are what you would consider. It's one thing if you lose to a top 10 ranked opponent, right? It's another if you lose to teams that are really not on the radar at all. So I think that helps you out also, and it's looking pretty muddy on what's going to happen in the ACC and who's going to come out of that thing, which is what we want, right? We want chaos. We want tiebreakers. We want all of that stuff because that means that if you get into your conference game on a tiebreaker, it's going to be that much more unlikely that you get into the college football playoff.
I saw a scenario where 7 teams in the ACC can finish with a 6-2 conference record, and they all could be tied at 6-2. 7 teams. So the ACC, and remember, in the initial CFP rankings, the committee already told us they don't think the ACC is any good.
Right.
And the top ranked teams in the ACC both lost. And now Georgia Tech was probably sitting there on their bye week going, "Oh my gosh, just everything's burning around us." But this week you've got Virginia at Duke. That's clearly a huge game. You're going to get Pitt, Georgia Tech. You're going to get Louisville, SMU. Those games are both in week 13. The Georgia Tech Pitt game is going to be massive. But yeah, I think if OU is going to go 9-3 and make the playoff, this is exactly what the Sooners needed from the ACC. Just utter chaos.
Yep, I agree. You from conferences that pretty much everyone thought anyways are pretty far behind quality wise behind the Big Ten and the SEC. You don't want 2 massive standouts. When you have 2 massive standouts, that makes everyone think that, well, the whole conference may not be close, but these 2 or 3 teams actually are and deserve to be there in the end. But if everyone's beating everyone and not looking all that impressive, yeah, that's exactly how you want it to look.
And I think so. The ACC, it went perfectly for OU. And remember, this is if OU goes 9-3. But I think the Sooners also got the help in the Big 12 that they needed.
Yeah.
And we'll recap this game later. But I feel like the way that Tech beat BYU was very damaging to BYU in the eyes of the committee. That did not look like a team that is playoff caliber. And originally, I thought the nightmare scenario was an 11-1 BYU plays an 11-1 Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship game. And it doesn't matter really what happens. Like both of them are getting
Both are in. Yeah.
I don't think that anymore.
Uh-uh.
I think the door is now open for an 11-1 BYU to make the Big 12 championship game and to get smoked by Tech again and get left out. Is that how you see it? Because that game was not very competitive, man. I mean, Texas Tech just choked them out.
Is there anyone else that you like? Cincinnati right now is 7-2, and they've got Arizona, BYU, and at TCU left with losses to Nebraska week 1 and Utah at Utah.
And we know the committee thinks Utah's good.
Any chance that, I guess I'm asking, is there anyone else that could finish 2 losses and be a threat? Utah,
but it seems like they've got a very outside chance to make the Big 12 championship game.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a world where Cincinnati beats BYU and then they're in the Big 12 championship game. But I think Tech's going to handle their business in that game. Like, I think after watching this weekend, I thought the Big 12 was in a solid position to get 2 teams in. It feels more of like a 1-team league to me now because it feels like the gap between Tech and everyone else is wide. And I'm of the belief that BYU is going to be number 12 in this next ranking. I think a lot of people on that committee didn't think BYU was very good.
Yeah.
But the 0 in the loss column, they had no choice, right? And now that they lost a game and they lost it the way that they did against the best team they've played all season, and it was as lopsided as it was, I think the committee is going to look at BYU and go, you're not as good as Oklahoma and Texas. You're at 12th. That's what I think is going to happen on Tuesday night.
Yeah, and I think there's a real strong likelihood of that. I agree with you. I think that it's going to reinforce a lot of those ideas, and you just get back to the fact that I don't know the committee would ever admit to it, but if you're like, your record, it has to say more than just being a number. There has to be some impressive stuff on there, right? Not just that you beat impressive teams, that you played impressive teams, played them close, had chances to win. I mean, you would think that all of those things factor in, and outside of Tech, and I mean, and you could even make the argument against Tech in that regard, but I mean, I think that whole scenario just kind of hurts the Big 12.
It felt like the best thing for the Big 12 to get multiple teams in would have been for that to be a very, very competitive game.
Yep.
And it was not competitive at all. So that, and maybe maybe my crimson and cream glasses are just, the tint is too thick currently. But I feel like the way that BYU got smoked opens the door for them being left out if they make the Big 12 championship game and get handled by Tech again.
And do we feel pretty strong that if Tech wins the Big 12 championship, like there's not anyone else that could step into that void?
I think the only scenario is, BYU makes the title game and they beat them.
Yeah.
Which after the matchup we just watched, it's kind of hard to think that would happen, right?
Yeah.
Or Cincinnati makes the title game, they beat BYU, and then they go and beat Texas Tech. Then you're probably looking at both Cincy and Texas Tech making it, because I think the committee thinks Tech is legit.
Mm-hmm.
And I if it goes the way that it did a year ago, Tech as an 11-1 team, I don't think they'll get punished for playing in the Big 12 championship game and losing like a close one to Cincinnati. You know what I mean?
Yep, I agree.
But I don't know. Maybe I just contradicted myself about what I said with BYU, but that game was so lopsided that I think it's going to be and BYU's like their advanced metrics, they're behind OU and Texas and all the SP plus stuff.
Yeah.
All that stuff. They look like a worse team when you watch them with your eyes, and then all the advanced statistics also say they're a worse team than OU and Texas.
Yep.
So I think that's one where it's going to be like, yeah, BYU, I know you only lost one game, but you're going to be at 12. I'm almost to the point where I'll be surprised if that's not the case on Tuesday night.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So let's hit the Big Ten and the SEC really quick because no Horvath for Navy, and Notre Dame just smoked Navy. So,
which we thought was, I mean, the option and all that stuff. When you play those teams every single year, and it's kind of ends up being built into what you do, it doesn't have the same advantage that they typically have against other teams outside their conference that have to in the middle of the year devise a totally new defense. So yeah, not a good result for Navy.
Also, Memphis went down. Nice win for Tulane. I'm not sure if it's going to be South Florida or James Madison that's in the bracket on Tuesday night, but it seems like it's going to be one of those teams representing the group of five. That's going to continue to feel dumber and dumber as the season goes on, that one of those teams is getting an automatic bid. But the Big Ten, we want them to be a 3-bid league. Indiana and Ohio State won. We'll get to how Indiana won here in a little bit, but that remains nice and clean. Those two teams at the top of the Big Ten, let them win out, let them play each other in the Big Ten championship game. We know both of those teams are going to make it. Oregon beats Iowa, gives Iowa a third loss. Iowa probably out of the picture now. Oregon still has Minnesota, USC, and Washington left. Wisconsin gave Washington their third loss, which is a good thing for Oklahoma. They won the game. Wisconsin won that game. Their punter was their leading passer with 24 yards, and they won the game.
Was that a backup quarterback that went in?
No. You're thinking of USC.
That was USC. Okay.
Yeah, they have been we have received multiple statements. That should have been a penalty. How do you not know it should be a penalty at the time, guys? Come on. I don't know how they, but it is what it is. But USC beat Northwestern, so USC still alive. They only have 2 losses. But the Big Ten, it does feel like it's trending toward only getting 3 teams in. Now, the easiest way remains like, hey, Oregon, just go handle your business. Beat Minnesota, beat USC. I really don't care if they beat Washington or not. Washington's out of the picture in my mind now that they're a 3-loss team. So the Sooners, if they're going to go 9-3, they got the chaos they needed in the ACC. Feels like there was a positive development in the Big 12 with how badly Tech beat BYU. And then the Big 10, it feels like it's trending towards a 3-team league. I'm just saying.
Who do we want the 3 to be? Indiana, Ohio State, and Oregon, right?
Correct. Yes. That's the easy. I think that's the cleanest way. Now, I guess you could say, oh, we want, if USC beats Oregon, then it's just Indiana, Ohio State, and USC. But come on, we all know how we feel about that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fascinating. How crazy would it be if, and I know it's a scenario that we don't want. It's one of those that hurts that you don't want it, but Michigan could backdoor their way in this thing,
No doubt.
And if they can win out and then beat Ohio State at home for the 5th straight year, they'd be in the I think they'd be in the Big Ten championship game, right? With the head-to-head over Ohio State, and they've only got the one other loss. I think that's how. I don't know how their
I
tiebreakers work, but
That seems like common sense to me.
so there's still a lot of scenarios that could unfold in the Big Ten. But I think here's the thing. I think they have five really solid teams at the top. We'll just see how they sort out. Hopefully, a couple of those get eliminated.
Yeah, if the Big Ten is a three bid league, then it feels almost guaranteed that the SEC is going to have five teams.
Yep.
So that's a good thing. Remember, this whole thing we're talking through is for if OU goes 9-3. That would be a good thing for Oklahoma if the SEC is getting five teams in.
Yep.
So and the SEC, like Vandy beats Auburn. Poor Auburn, man. My goodness. But Vandy still has Kentucky, who all of a sudden looks kind of legit. They've got Kentucky and Tennessee left. I wouldn't be surprised if Vandy loses either of those games. It'd be helpful if they are 9-2 and then get beat by Tennessee, who we beat.
Yeah.
That would be, I think that's best case scenario for OU's chances. And then Georgia looks awfully good, man. It's hard to imagine they're going to lose two more games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are we to the point where we're cheering for Texas to just fall apart?
I mean, I think so. Yeah, I think we are.
Because Texas going 8-4 feels way more likely than Georgia dropping a couple more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, do I really think Georgia's going to lose to Texas and then get beat by Georgia Tech in the last game of the year? No, I do not.
I'm with you. The crazy thing about Georgia is, they handled Mississippi State. We all saw that, but man, they've just gotten by so many like three different times this year, and and credit them for that. As we all know, winning is a skill. The Texas game, I'm really worried about though. All right, I don't know if it's just like me trying to defend, but I'm starting to think Texas is going to go in there and win that football game.
If that happens, then we need Texas to beat them like 42-7 or something.
Yeah.
If Texas is going to win that game, we need it to be a dominant, lopsided blowout to plant the seeds of doubt with Georgia, because that would only be their second loss, correct?
Yes. The only other loss is to Alabama.
So, yeah, if that's going to happen, if Texas is going to win that game, we need Texas to blow them out, and then we need Texas to beat A&M to finish the season. Because remember, in this hypothetical, OU is 9-3. Texas finishing 9-3 is a disaster for the Sooners.
Disaster. Yep. The other thing we need, the single factor that will have the biggest advantage for us is Notre Dame to lose a game.
Come on, Pitt.
Single biggest factor. They're at Pitt, Syracuse, and then Stanford. You think they win all three of those games, but it's college football. That's the ultimate one, in my opinion. You should be ahead of them right now. You're not, but if they take another loss, you feel like their playoff hopes are officially cooked.
We're big Heinz Schultz fans.
Yeah.
Ever since that dude has taken over, they've played some good ball offensively, man. So we'll see. I don't feel great about Pitt knocking off Notre Dame, but would it be extremely helpful for the cause? Oh yeah.
Hey, they made it to the college football final last year and lost to who was it, like Northern Illinois or someone? So
that's true.
It can happen.
We are now giant Mason Heinschel fans. Let's go Panthers. Let's go Narduzzi. Come on, boys. We need you. Anything else? I feel like we The only thing I think left to discuss is what do we think OU is going to be ranked on Tuesday? I personally think they're going to bump up to number 11.
I agree.
I think Texas will still be ranked ahead of them at 10. Notre Dame will be at 9. And then I think OU will check in at 11 ahead of BYU.
Yep, I agree. I guess I'd be surprised if anything else really happened there. I guess the surprising thing is that BYU doesn't fall that much, but like we've covered, they should.
The committee was definitely watching that game,
Yeah,
and BYU just that was an overmatched football team.
they had nothing offensively.
We'll
Nothing.
recap that one. We're about to get into that, but I will say the only other rankings thing, Texas A&M at the very least should be number 2. That team is rolling, dude.
You know where I sit on this? I'm still frustrated that Ohio State's number 1, considering they have played nobody since they beat Texas in week 1, and will continue to play nobody until they play Michigan in the final game of the season. UCLA, Rutgers, and then at Michigan, cruise control, and which credit them for not losing. I mean, I understand that it's difficult to do that no matter who you play, but Texas A&M's resume, it's so much better. It's not even in the same world as Ohio State's.
Any issue if Texas A&M's ranked number 1 on Tuesday night?
No. Best resume.
Do we think Texas A&M should be number 1 on Tuesday night?
Yes.
You know who the happiest person in the world would be if Texas A&M was ranked number 1 on Tuesday night?
I don't know who.
Ryan Day. There's nothing more he would. He's like, we are killing everyone. My team is incredible. Oh, thank you for giving us a little, motivation, which sounds ridiculous, but then falling out of the number 1 spot after destroying Purdue, like Ryan Day would be like, thank you so much, committee. I appreciate you guys.
And yeah,
they don't think you're any good, boys. They think you're terrible.
It's a tough deal because I understand, if you're the reigning national champion and you haven't lost a football game since you won the crown, I mean, that counts for a lot. So I guess I see both sides of it, but I'm frustrated with what their schedule has been.
I think that's a fair frustration, Ted.
Yeah.
Especially when you consider, like, you look at our schedule and you're like, what would our record be if we played Ohio State's schedule? I mean, come on.
Yeah. Ohio State's played I think 2 top 25 teams, and A&M's beaten 4 top 25 teams in a row or something. No, that's not right. They've beaten.
No, that was Bama. Bama played
Bama?
4.
Yeah.
Remember, they played 4 ranked teams in a row without a bye and won them all.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't know. We'll see where it goes.
Ohio State's really good, though. I know what their schedule is, but all you got to do is watch, and you're like, okay, yeah, they got a lot of good players.
And I know we haven't talked about it much. It's a real weird year for the Heisman conversation, but Julian's saying, I mean,
I think it's going to be maybe the best comparison is like a Jason White, Adrian Peterson situation.
Yeah.
I think everyone will acknowledge Sayan's having a great season, but everyone knows Jeremiah Smith is the best player on that team.
Yeah.
Or at least the best player on that offense. The fact that they have multiple guys on the defense that you could say, they might be a little better than Smith right now, and Arvell Reese and Caleb Dowds just speaks to the talent they have on that football team. But I don't think Julian Sayin will win the Heisman Trophy simply because everyone's going to go, shouldn't we just give it to Jeremiah Smith? He's the best player.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Good point. He is completing 81% of his passes, 24 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, 2,500 yards. Pretty good.
He's got some pretty good guys to throw the ball to.
Yeah.
They've been great. They've been great. I am very excited at some point to see that offensive line get tested.
Yeah.
I they were not lights out in the opener against Texas. Texas got a really good defensive front, and I that's why that game looked the way that it did. But I want to see that group tested a little more. But we've talked too much Ohio State. Why are we talking about the number one team in the country? This is
I don't
ridiculous.
know. I don't know.
All right, let's recap the best games from week 11 of college football. But first,
Schwab Meat has been smoking the highest quality meats, hot dogs, and sausages in OKC since 1912. Go to schwabmeat.com to order any of Schwab's outstanding products and use promo code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab dogs are iconic. I like to keep it simple. Just a bun, dog, mustard, ketchup. Also, the jalapeno cheddar smoked sausage is ridiculous. Schwabmeat.com, code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab Meat, the official hot dog of game days.
and head to the garage for hand smashed patties, butter toasted buns, and ice cold beer. My go-to is the double bison cheeseburger. It's so good. The garage is the perfect spot to watch any big game, and you can enjoy Rad Hour every day. Enjoy discounted domestic beers, house wines, draft cocktails, and frozen cocktails Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Visit eatatthegarage.com to find a location near you or order online from the garage in your neighborhood.
Insurica has launched a new digital agency introducing Insurica Direct. Whether you're in Oklahoma or anywhere across the U.S., they've got you covered. From small business insurance and health insurance for your employees to insurance for individuals like home, auto, and even Medicare supplements. Insurica Direct's got it all. Start your journey today at insuricadirect.com. Remember, at Insurica, we specialize in you.
All right, let's recap the best games of week 11 of college football. And it was a big game. It wasn't one of the best, but we're going to recap it anyways. Texas Tech got after Missouri, man.
Yep.
38-17. I think the proper word, just drubbing.
Yeah, it was. I mean, there were a couple of moments where Missouri started to get things going, and you thought, okay, maybe they're going to make a run at this, and then A&M would just stomp it out. Like, I thought the play of the game was that fake punt. And
Yeah.
I know they ended up getting just 3 out of it, right? But Missouri had just scored a touchdown, just got their first, what looked like was going to be, I think, their first 3 and out of the game. And then A&M has a beautiful fake punt, takes them all the way down into the fringe red area, and they end up getting a field goal. And it just felt like that snuffed out maybe the last hope that Missouri had.
It was that play and then the play before half, right? Where Zollers got stripped and they return it to the one, and then A&M punches it in with EJ Smith. And it was one of those things where you go, okay, what's the one thing that can't happen if you're Missouri right here? And then it happened. And they felt like they were right there despite not being able to really complete forward passes.
Yeah.
But it was about to be 7-0 at halftime. And instead, in the blink of an eye, disaster strikes and it's 14-0. And with the way that Zollers was struggling in the passing game, that 14-0 deficit felt like 35-0 or like 42-0 to me.
Yep.
I even tweeted the second that happened, I was like, that'll do it in Columbia. I mean, it's over.
Yeah. It was crazy. And I went to the stats. A&M had 2 sacks. It felt like they had 100 sacks. I mean, every time he dropped back to pass, he was getting crushed, panic, scrambling around, trying to get rid of the football. Good coverage downfield. That was a really good defensive performance. And then, they started going to the run too late. They should have leaned on the foundation of what they do a little bit earlier, and maybe they could have stuck around.
I thought Marcel Reed played one of maybe his best game.
Yep.
And some people may disagree with that, but he just did what winning required. He didn't do anything crazy. He just managed the game. He knew that Missouri was struggling to move it offensively. And he said, okay, don't put the ball in harm's way. Take what this defense has given me. Worked a lot of the stuff underneath to his playmakers who, do you get it to Craver and Concepcion underneath? Those dudes can make things happen. But I thought he just did a good job of getting the ball to his playmakers. 20 of 29, 221, some touchdowns. Did some solid things with his legs. Like, just played a very boring, solid game for them at the quarterback position.
I totally agree. And I had the same thought watching the game. I was like, the best way I can sum it up is I thought Marcel Reed played, for what I've seen, his most mature football game. Trust it. Hand it. We're the better team. I don't need to do anything crazy. Hit the open guy, hand it off, make a couple of plays with your legs here and there. Just be smart and manage the football game. And a lot of times quarterbacks, that is viewed as a negative, but in this instance, I thought it was one of maybe the best team in the country going in and just leaning on a team for 4 quarters, and it worked out just how they want it to.
That's how it felt. And I would have loved to see these two teams play with Pribula at quarterback for Mizzou, because the moment just looked a little too big for Zollers. And I think he's going to be a good player. Like, I think he's a talented guy. I like his tools. But that pocket was caving in, and that dude looked uncomfortable. You better break your tendencies in pass protection if you're playing Texas A&M. They know Elko is as good as there is in college football at knowing your protection rules and using them against you. I mean, how many times did A&M just have a free runner just smashing Zollers when he dropped back? And it was all scheme. Man, I heard Drinkwitz talk about it after the game. He was just like, man, he got us. They tried to adjust, and A&M adjusted to the adjustments. Like, they were one step ahead with their pressure package stuff, and they're fantastic at it, man. But this game made me realize not only how important Pribula was as a passer for them, but Zollers brought nothing as a runner. And that's what made their rushing attack so dangerous, was the threat of what Pribula can do with his legs. That just wasn't there.
Yep.
And I thought that it was a really solid performance from A&M kind of all around, Ted.
Yeah, and, it's crazy that Missouri got beat 38-17, and it didn't ever feel like it was all that close. And they had 200-yard rushers, and still rushed it for 207 against A&M. That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like they should have really leaned on that way more early to protect Zollers, and it would have made for probably a slower, more frustrating game. But I think you would have limited possessions for A&M, and like, in the grand scheme of things, it probably wouldn't have mattered. But I think they could have kept it closer, because they got it rolling in the second half with the running game.
Well, hopefully the people out there had Texas A&M as one of their battle bets. I think Cali-born Sooner bred 24 is the leader at the end of week 11.
Okay.
Congratulations. I think the week's winner was Sawyer Johnson. So I think Sawyer Johnson won week 11, and then Cali-born Sooner bred 24 claims the overall title. We'll let Battle Bets get in touch with those people.
Awesome.
But congratulations.
Big time.
That was a lot of fun, man. I hope that Battle Bets partners with us again, because that was a lot of fun to do. And it was fun to watch the listeners get engaged with that.
We need a playoff version of that, I believe.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? Playoff
All right, Battle
version.
Bets. Hey, let Battle Bets know that we want to do it for whether it's the rest of the season or just the college football playoff. Like, we need to keep this thing going. So let them know on Twitter.
Awesome.
I believe their handle is, here it is, @BattleBets_app. BattleBets_APP. Let them know that we want to keep this thing rolling, guys.
That's right.
All right, we touched on this earlier, but Texas Tech's a lot better than BYU, Ted.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
29-7, and it didn't feel that close.
No, I listened to a lot of it on the radio, watched a lot of it early, and then, there was nothing there. Um, the front, the defensive front for Tech, you can tell is on a different level than anything that BYU has played, and they just really struggled. Bachmeier was under a ton of pressure throughout the football game, and it's just, what are you going to do? You're going on the road and you're playing up against someone that just has a lot more good players spread throughout their roster than you do. I thought they played hard, thought they showed good fight, but they just couldn't overcome the talent deficiency.
We talked about it in the preview to this game. The worst case scenario for BYU was their run game doesn't get going and Bachmeier's got to drop back a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
Texas Tech executed their plan defensively at a very high level. They completely shut down BYU's rushing attack, which is the foundation of that offense. Cougs had 67 yards rushing on 27 attempts. LJ Martin, playing banged up, but still a good player, 35 yards rushing.
Yeah.
I mean, just completely shut it down, and that put Bear Bachmeier in this offense in bad down and distance situations. That is not his strength currently. He had to throw it 38 times.
Yep.
That just was not going to be a winning formula for BYU. He ends up 23 of 38 for a touchdown, or for 188 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. And I thought BYU would have trouble matching Tech's explosiveness. BYU's longest run of the day was 12 yards, and I think they had 3 plays total over 15 yards in the entire game.
Tough. Yep.
Just
and
not going to win.
Down.
Not going to win against a good team in a crazy environment like that with that type of offensive output. Just not going to happen, man.
No, and you mentioned it. The lack of the run game ended up in a bunch in 3rd and longs. 3 of 14 on 3rd down. Not going to get it done. I will say though, I thought BYU's defense performed pretty good. They got after Bear Morton quite a bit. I think they had 4 sacks on the day. They created quite a bit of chaos in the pocket for them. They just, it was slow going early, and Tech got up on the board and got a lead on them. And when they didn't have the running game, you don't have much else to do. You become one-dimensional very quickly. And for a team that's not your strength to begin with, just found yourself in a tough hole to get out of.
BYU's defense, they gave up some explosive plays to Dickey and Williams, and credit to some of Tech's wide receivers just going up and making competitive plays on the ball for some of their explosives. But I thought BYU's defense played well enough to win. Like, they forced 5 field goals.
Yep. 3 turnovers by your offense.
That's and Tech's not going to be pleased. Like, they're not going to be pleased with their red zone execution in this game.
Yeah.
Kicking 5 field goals when you have more talent than the other team that's not where you want to be. And it leads me to one of my takeaways from this game. Tech is clearly the best team in the Big 12, but they are not good enough at quarterback to be a real factor in the playoff. Baron Morton, and he's banged up. It's obvious. It's clear that he's not anywhere close to 100%. And Will Hammond is gone with the knee injury now. I just don't think they are good enough at the quarterback position to truly compete in the college football playoff, especially when you consider some of the quarterbacks these other teams are going to have. It just
and the defensive lines that they're going to face. I think that's one of the biggest talent differences is the consistency that you see with the pass rush and the defensive line in the other conferences. You don't have nearly as many players. The guys that Tech have, that's what makes them stand out in the Big 12, and they would kind of get lost in the mix in the other at the top of the other conferences with their defensive line. They're good, don't get me wrong, but they don't have to play against those like talented defensive lines. And like I said, BYU was able to get after the quarterback. And you mentioned it with Bear Morton. When you step up to that next level, if you don't have transcendent quarterback play that can overcome those defensive lines, creating a bunch of chaos in the pocket, life can get very difficult.
This may not make sense, but it's how this is the conclusion I've come to in my mind is like Texas Tech is inverse OU when we were like the Lincoln Riley OU teams.
Yeah, makes sense.
They're legit on defense. Like David Bailey's legit. That guy's a top 10, top 15 pick. Jacob Rodriguez is one of the most productive players in college football. The guy just forces turnovers. It's unbelievable. Like that defense is legit. But I don't think they have enough offensively. So that's why I call them like inverse of the Lincoln Riley OU teams. We all know what those offenses were, but we just didn't have enough defensively.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's pointless to compare like this Tech defense to like the best version of a Baker Mayfield OU offense. But do you understand what I'm saying? Like they just feel like, to me, they've got one side of the ball that is playoff caliber, and the other side is just lacking. And it goes back to I just do not think they have the type of quarterback play that you need to go make some noise in the playoff.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the inverse Oklahoma thing was stupid, but it's okay. We'll move on.
I totally understand what you're saying, though.
I will withhold judgment on Tech wearing those white Mahomes jerseys or whatever they are because they smashed their opponent. You can't criticize those. I don't know if those are big game jerseys or not, Ted, but if you dominate the game, I'm not going to say anything. But there's zero doubt in my mind this should have been a red jersey versus a blue jersey game. It's obvious. It's right there for us to watch, guys. What are we doing?
Yeah, this is a little bit different for it was a big game with two top 10 teams going at it. Didn't feel that way watching it on television. And also, I don't know if you don't have like a total recognizable brand and uniform, I'm okay if you stray a little bit from your usual, if that makes sense.
That's fair. And like the Mahomes factor, that's a big deal for Tech. And it just,
yeah.
I guess it was a day game. Like if it was a night game, it should have been like a blackout. It should have been scary there. But I don't know. The all white, it's fine. It's fine. It's Tech. It's not like it's OU or Bama or one of these teams that has a historically.
Was it Georgia Tech or was it Texas Tech?
I'm not sure.
Pretty similar to Georgia Tech look they had going on there.
Just the all whites, baby.
All whites with like that. What color was that outlining? Was that gold or?
Let's not dive too deep into this. They won and they were dominant. So credit to Tech and getting the job done in the Mahomes jerseys. Good win.
Fair point.
Very solid win. All right, last game. LSU, Alabama. This was an interesting game, right? Final scores 20-9. What'd you think of this one?
It felt totally one-sided. It didn't feel like LSU was ever much threat, especially in the second half, to get their way back into the football game. I thought Alabama was going to break it open, but it just never really happened. But I feel like they dominated the whole game, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't think Bama played particularly well, especially in the second half. And LSU's got a solid defense. There's no doubt about it. But with how much LSU was struggling offensively, it just felt like the margin of victory should have been bigger.
Yeah.
it was kind of it was a tough watch when LSU had the ball on offense.
Yep.
I mean, it got to the point where Garrett Nussmeier runs into a sack. One of the crazier things I've ever seen from a quarterback. Like there is this giant, I mean giant space for him to step up into the pocket. And instead he bails out and to the left and runs into the guy's arms. It's just crazy. But they pull him. Like the interim coach was like, I've seen enough. Get out. And they put Van Buren in. And to Van Buren's credit, like he had a couple throws where he went, whoa.
Yeah.
But it was just, this game was just so disjointed for LSU offensively. And even though it felt like Bama was in complete control, all of a sudden you looked up, it's an 8-point game and LSU's got the ball and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And Trey'Dez Green drops that easy first down that may have gotten that drive going. You're just like, how did we get here? But it was, I think the thing that stood out to me, Ted, Ty Simpson felt like he was under the most pressure he's been under this season. LSU, they got to some pressure package stuff and they disrupted him in the pocket as much as I've seen anyone disrupt him this season.
Yeah. And Alabama continues to be really bad running the football, which, looking forward to next week, I think is something that we've got to be able to build on with our defense as good as we've been stopping the run and continue to put them. I mean, Alabama's a really good football team, but they're not immune to the same things that everyone else is immune to. You put them in third and long and put their quarterback under stress. I mean, they won the game and they were 4 of 13 on third down. I mean, not great. And I know LSU has a good defense. I think that we are every bit as good and probably quite a bit better, at least in my mind. So I think that I didn't come away feeling like, oh boy, that's an unbeatable football team. I mean, an LSU team that has really struggled, can't run the ball, can't protect their quarterback very well. I mean, it really looked like the same formula. It didn't look like Alabama is just that much better than everyone else they've played. It just kind of looked like the same issues that they've had continued to show up and the same, similar result. I mean, you talked about the second half became hard to watch. Listen to this drive chart for both teams. LSU field goal to make it 17-6. Alabama 6 plays punt. LSU 6 plays punt. Alabama 6 plays fumble. LSU field goal. Alabama punt. LSU punt. Alabama field goal. LSU fumble. It was just like nothing in the second half except for slowly watching the clock tick down to 0.
It was, I'm always excited to watch these two teams play each other because of the talent I know that's going to be on the field. But I watched every snap of this second half and I kind of was sitting there going, ugh. It was just a weird game, man. And I think the big difference in the game was Bama's ability to create explosives in the passing game.
Yep.
Well, I thought Tyson, and it was mainly in the first half because Ty Simpson, he missed some throws in the third quarter that he typically does not miss. And if he connects on those, this game looks a lot different, probably from a final score perspective. But that first half, it was 4 completions over 30 yards.
Yeah.
Couple beautiful throws from him. And it kind of felt like that was the difference in the game because neither team could run it. We saw some field goals. I don't know, man. This was just it was not an exhilarating game to watch.
It wasn't. Atmosphere looked great.
Yeah. Can't wait to experience it. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, same.
But
I'm with you though. Ty Simpson, man, he threw, was it Brooks that caught that early deep ball in traffic? Gosh. That I was like, son, come here. You got to watch this.
Just drops it in the bucket. I mean, if Ty Simpson has time, he will cook you.
Yeah.
It has been proven. But we did see LSU affect him in the pocket. Like the one that he fumbles, he has some of the best pocket awareness that I've seen in a long, long time from a college quarterback. And you can't expect Jam Miller to hold on that long in pass protection. And the guy just slaps the ball out of his hands. It's
Yeah.
like, that's an uncharacteristic mistake. And I think that pressure that LSU was able to produce with some of their blitz packages, I think that got to him. And he missed a lot of throws he normally doesn't miss in that second half.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it was, I don't know. Result kind of ended up being where everyone thought it was going to be, or most people thought it was going to be. But, I didn't come out of there saying, well, we know how hard it's going to be to go beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa, right? But what you saw on the field, at least for me, had me coming away saying, matchup maybe not be all that bad.
I think if you're an OU fan and you watched every snap of that game, you probably came away going, it ain't going to be easy, but we can go beat that team.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Now you got to go play well. Can't have any blunders. You got to check all the boxes on the keys that we went through earlier, Ted. But there's no doubt OU is more than capable of going and beating Alabama.
Yep. And speaking of blunders, did Nussmeier just drop that football?
That was the other guy. That was Van Buren.
Oh, was that Van Buren?
Yeah.
Did he just drop it?
He just dropped it. Yeah.
Because the guy whiffed, and did he hit his own leg with? That was weird.
Ball just came right out of his hand because
I had Missouri flashbacks from last year.
Oh boy. Being an LSU fan has to be incredibly painful this year. They were supposed to be awesome on offense. And their offense is the glaring weakness of the football team. And
yep.
I don't know if I can recall a quarterback stock plummeted more than Nussmeier's. My goodness.
Yeah. I don't know. It's been ugly. Been ugly. The only other thing I had that I thought was interesting was I thought Van Buren looked like Jordan Evans playing quarterback in his helmet. That's who he looked like to me.
Interesting. I'll have to go back and look at that.
That's it. Just small little note.
Yeah. Jordan Evans shout out. I love it. Great dude.
Not nearly as big though. Jordan Evans continues to grow. He gets bigger every time I see him.
Oh, hey.
Hell of a football player.
You ready for winners and losers?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. But first, wind, hail, tornadoes, and earthquakes are now year-round threats. And at the same time, homeowners insurance rates in Oklahoma are the highest in the entire country. Unfortunately, some insurance companies use deceptive and bad faith claim handling practices to deny or lower what little they pay out. Fortunately, one of the leading insurance bad faith attorneys in the country is a longtime Sooner and resides here in Oklahoma, Jeff Marr. The Marr Law Firm has represented more victims of tornado, storm, and earthquake damage than anyone in the Sooner State, recovering hundreds of millions of dollars for their clients. There's only one law firm to handle insurance companies, Marr Law Firm. And three things matter in banking: service, service, and service. And First Fidelity Bank's commitment to exceptional service is more than a promise. It's their foundation. FFB has been by your side for over a century, and they are honored to be a part of your journey. Banking isn't about where you've been, it's about where you are headed. Open an account at an award-winning bank today at ffb.com. At First Fidelity Bank, we go where you go.
Bishop McGuinness Catholic High School represents a tradition of educational excellence in Oklahoma City. Grounded in a faith-based education, Bishop McGuinness offers a college prep curriculum that includes 26 AP courses, participation in OSSAA athletics, and numerous clubs and organizations for students to join and grow. If you want to provide the best possible educational and spiritual development for your children, contact Bishop McGuinness Catholic High School or visit bmchs.org. Financial aid is available.
And go to opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED for 10% off our podcast merchandise and the best OU gear out there. That's opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED. Buttery soft and 10% off. As always, Ted kicks off. Who do you have as your winner of the weekend?
Hey, there's something to be said for surviving and advancing, and Indiana going on the road to play Penn State, who still has a very talented football team. I know things have been ugly for them. They lost their quarterback for the season, lost their coach. It hasn't been pretty. They're now a 3-6 football team, but they could still get it rolling at times. And uh, early on, Indiana just cruising right along, and then Penn State comes roaring back, and that final drive on the road capped off with that play in the back of the end zone. Hey, winners win, and what a drive! What, like 75 yards in a minute and change to go win the football game on the road. I just incredible stuff. That was a hell of a play by Cooper in the back of the end zone. I mean, that's just the slimmest of margins between a catch and a no catch. Just sums up the entire season in one play for Penn State.
Yes, that was, I think that final sequence, those final couple drives, that's the best sequence of any football game all season long
Yeah.
for me. Like that place, who was it? Singleton that scored?
That
I,
dude can go.
I,
Woo.
he scores to take the lead, and that place sounded insane. But to Mendoza and that offense's credit, like, you are defined by how you respond when your back's against the wall, man. And that dude had some absolute lasers on that game-winning drive. And then that Omar Cooper catch is one of the best catches I've ever seen. When you consider time, score, like the situation, the athleticism to get the foot down it felt like he was going to hit his head on the crossbar. He was so high in the air.
He like went up to catch it, caught it, and then kept going up. It was nuts. It's like, no, dude, turn the jets off. You got to come back down to earth, out of orbit, and try and get down in the back of the end zone. That was crazy.
Penn State, they had a chance on offense to end the game.
I know. But what they got out there, near midfield, right?
Got a little tight, man. Probably weren't they. I was not a particular fan of the play calling. It felt like it got real tight, real conservative, but credit to Indiana's defense for getting the stop they absolutely had to get and getting Mendoza and that offensive ball back.
Yeah.
Wow. That was what, the best finish of the season?
Look, if you listen to Gus Johnson almost have a stroke on air, then yeah, I'd say so.
That was something. I know I feel like Gus Johnson is a polarizing figure in the college football community. I actually thought how crazy he went fit the moment in a weird way. Because he like lost his mind. You're like, is he having a heart attack? Is he okay? But it kind of fit just how crazy of a catch, and like it kind of fit the sequence of the game well in a weird way. I don't know. But yes, as I heard him losing, I was like, is he all right? Is everything all right? It was as Gus Johnson can be.
Hey, it sounds like you're watching it in the living room with your buddies, and that's everyone's reaction if you're a fan of that team. Like, I don't know. Does he go overboard? Maybe, but I'm okay with it. Like, what do I care?
Yeah.
It doesn't have any effect on the outcome or doesn't ruin the experience for me at all. I thought it was a funny, cool part of the entire moment. It was great. He literally almost blacked out on television.
Yes. It was something. Now, last thing on this game, and Indiana still they clearly have lofty goals for this season, but they've been playing football, I believe, since 1887. From 1887 to 2023, they had 0 10-win seasons. Curt Cignetti now has 2 10-win seasons in his first 2 years as the head coach of Indiana. When you put it in perspective like that, wow. I
Out
mean,
of
wow.
nowhere, literally out of nowhere. It has you just wonder, like, what exactly is he doing that is so different than everyone else to be able to have those type of results? I mean, it's not like he took over a, Michigan, like when Harbaugh took over it, or a Tennessee when Heupel took. Like, this is not a tradition rich, resource rich program that is just waiting to get back to where they were. And as soon as you start winning, the floodgates open. No, this is a Silicon Valley startup from scratch, and he's taken it from nothing to number 2 in the country. I mean, crazy.
All the players he brought from James Madison, helpful, but still unbelievable what he's done.
I
Who
mean,
do you have as your loser of the weekend?
uh, I will say this was uh, it was a fun nightcap to be able to watch OU men hoops after the. I mean, I was sitting there at the LSU Alabama game saying, "What time is it? When does this game going to start? I need something else to keep me awake." But we played Gonzaga, and we got it handed to us. All right, we went out. We did not perform well, but it was still entertaining for me, at least, to watch this team against some good competition. Um, I don't know what your takeaway was. Mine really was that I can see the talent and I can see what the product can get to, but they're going to have to play together quite a bit more because there was just so much, um, bad passes, bobbling passes, throwing it away, just not really knowing or trusting where everyone else on the floor is going to be, and still trying to get that rhythm together. It's only the second game. And I know they're capable of playing much better than they did, but it was still enjoyable for me because, frankly, got to get to know this roster a little bit. But it was tough to see them get beat as bad as they did. They had a really bad first half and just couldn't close the gap very much in the second.
Uh, that was it. The first half was, I mean, let's be real, it's kind of a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
My takeaways, and if you look at the second half, I think we outscored them like 38-34 in the second half.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Porter Moser is looking at this game and he's going to show his team that second half and go, hey, this is who we are. This is what we can be. But I think in the first half, you just saw how dependent this team is going to be on Mo McGee. When he got into foul trouble, man, they had no answers for Gonzaga's bigs at all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, EK was getting pretty much anywhere he wanted. And they were just dominating the paint with McGee having to be on the bench with the foul trouble. And that's just, he's going to have to be smart, especially early in games, because in the second half, you saw him. He was just pinning guys' stuff on the glass, like really doing a good job protecting the rim. Like it was a night and day difference. That was my number one takeaway was, wow, okay, this guy is going to be pivotal for this team on the defensive end.
Yeah.
You got to shoot the three better too.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like we're going to
we said that a lot about this team a year ago. You got a bunch of new players, but you're not going to beat anyone going 6 of 26 from three. You're just not.
Nope. No, Nigel Pack, he's a great 3-point shooter. He was 2 of 9. He kept firing, just couldn't get anything to go. I think that's going to be different. And again, like I would almost rather see this team, and this is like a personal thing. And probably a bunch of OU fans feel the same way. I'd rather see them, start slow and build rather than come out hot and not be able to. I mean, I like them to come out hot and hold that the entire season, but I think it's going to take a little while for all of this to really mesh together. And once they do that, I think the talent's there for this to be a dangerous team.
I'm with you. they're going to get better. A bunch of new pieces. These guys haven't played games together. So, and that was, you're going to Spokane to play Gonzaga.
Yep. Environment looked great though. That looked like that place was packed. That was awesome.
Yeah. This just in. Yeah, Gonzaga may not be elite like they've been, but pretty dang good, man. So yep. I was disappointed in how lopsided the first half was, all the turnovers, the inability to protect the rim, Gonzaga's kind of just dominance in the paint. Mm-hmm. But I was encouraged by some of the stuff I saw in the second half, and Xavier Brown, despite like the most insane spelling of Xavier you've ever seen, like he's a guy that looks like, on any given night, he can go get you 20, you know what I mean? And it's always important to have that guy.
Yep, I agree.
But yeah, 68-83 final.
Tough.
Got to score more than 68.
Yeah, and you gotta start a little bit better, smarter, especially on the road. It'll come.
Little mini football guys talking basketball. How about that?
Okay.
Got OU hoops going. Thunder in the swing of things. Gosh, Thunder is so good. About that time, we'll start sprinkling a little more basketball.
That's right.
And winners and losers. All right, let's finish up with my winner and loser of the weekend. But first, this fall, Poncho's got you covered with classics like denim and flannels to new styles like the Western polo and tough thread. Comfortable, durable, and versatile for whatever the season brings. Poncho's denim shirt is great. It's my new go-to denim shirt. Going to be a fall fashion staple for me. I love this thing. And Poncho's flannels are the perfect medium weight, and they have a nice stretch to them. You can never have too many great flannels. You guys know how that goes. Poncho listened to their customers, and they have launched the Western Polo. This thing is a versatile shirt. Go get you one. You'll wear it a ton. And Poncho offers free shipping and free returns because they want you in a shirt that you love. Gear up for fall with Poncho. Every piece is built for comfort, performance, and lasting style. Go to ponchooutdoors.com/OKBreakdown and enter your email for $10 off your first order. That's PONCHO outdoors.com/OKBreakdown for $10 off and free shipping. And when they ask you how you heard about them, let them know the Oklahoma Breakdown sent you. It really helps support the show. Tushy is the everyday luxury bidet that instantly transforms your bathroom habits and bottom health for life. I'm a bidet guy, and you should be too. They make your butt cleaner. Why would anyone not want to have a super clean butt? A Tushy bidet will help you have a super clean butt. In fact, 99% of people who wash with Tushy Wave feel cleaner and fresher after going to the bathroom. If you're thinking, I don't want to have the extra plumbing done, good news. Every Tushy bidet easily attaches to your existing toilet without the need for additional plumbing. And it gets better. You can install it yourself. It's easy and takes about 10 minutes. Believe me, I know. I installed the one that they sent me myself. And if I can do it, I promise you, you can do it. And you spend less money on toilet paper. Just try it. Just try it. Remember, a hole is only a dirty word if you wipe. For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off their first bidet order when you use code OKBreakdown at checkout. That's 10% off your first bidet order at hellotushy.com with promo code OKBreakdown. All right, for my winner of the weekend, give me the Georgia Bulldogs. Many thought that could be a tricky spot for them this weekend in Starkville, and because they were coming off the battle against Florida, right? Neutral site rivalry game. They have Texas next week. Could they be looking ahead to that matchup? You got to go to Starkville and play Mississippi State, who's been competitive in a lot of games, and it was not competitive. They smacked Mississippi State around. 41-21 and didn't feel that close. It was now, if you watch the first quarter, you're going, hey,
yep,
this is a really competitive football game. And then
it got real interesting if Mississippi State up 7-3 could have taken advantage of the turnover they got from Georgia, but they gave it right back.
Yep. But then Georgia just stomps them the rest of the way. That second quarter, outscore them 21-0, and Mississippi State, they needed to play a clean game, right, to be in this thing with Georgia, and they had the Shapen fumble. They cashed that in for a touchdown. They don't convert on a 4th and 5. Oh, Ted, when they jumped off sides on the 4th and 3, Georgia has their punt team out there. They run the offense on. They hard count them, and Mississippi State jumps on 4th and 3. And I was sitting there going, how stupid can you be?
Uh,
It was painful, man. It was painful.
that falls into the blunder category.
And Georgia ends up and goes and scores a touchdown on that drive. That makes it 24-7. And that felt like it already felt over, but that was one where you just went, okay, yeah. But Georgia ran the heck out of it, dude.
Yeah.
Nate Frazier, that guy's got juice, man. Explosive after explosive. It was impressive. I know Mississippi State, I know they're not world beaters on defense, but they've been okay. And Georgia just ripped them apart with chunk plays.
They did. I mean, 12 carries for 181, 15-yard average. Oh, my gosh. That's crazy. 44 carries for 303 yards. That will get it done on the road.
Yeah. That'll do it. Gunnar Stockton was, solid. He's got his baseline is a pretty solid level these days. But if you're a Mississippi State fan and if you're looking for any positive, Shapen gets knocked out of the game in the second half. And we got kind of an extended look at Kamario Taylor, their freshman quarterback. And whoa.
Yeah.
Some of the throws, what he can do with his legs, like the talent. I get why that fan base has been wanting to see more of this guy now. Whoa. And maybe the best thing he did, he scores 2 touchdowns. It's garbage time. Doesn't celebrate at all. Hands the ball to the official, goes to the sideline. And I was like, I like this guy. This guy's got some awareness.
And for those that don't know, he's a freshman, 6'4", 230-pound freshman quarterback.
And can run.
Yep.
Like really run.
Yep.
So if you're looking for anything, if you're a Mississippi State fan, you say, hey, we got smoked, but looks like we got a future at quarterback. That's something to be excited about.
And they're still just sorting through the team stats. I mean, Mississippi State was still 8 of 16 on third down, picked up 50% of their third downs, were able to move the ball some, but, and they've struggled with some of these critical areas where they force a turnover and then give it back. The jump off sides on fourth down to extend a drive for your opponent. They've had quite a few situations like that throughout the season. Not that this one would have ended up being a game that they're capable of winning, but some of those unforced errors continue to be a problem for them and really hurt them in a bunch of those games that they could have won. The Texas game, that one was hard to watch late, unforced error after unforced error. So I don't know. I know that they've been the rumors have been swirling about Lebby and his job. I mean, I think that overall, you got to be pretty pleased with where their offense is and where it continues to go, but they got to get better on the defensive side and they have to become a smarter football team.
No doubt about it. Georgia, Texas, prime time, Saturday night in Athens. Georgia opened it as a 6.5-point favorite. Woo!
It's a lot.
That's going to be a fun one. I'm looking forward to it.
Early thought. No in-depth, just early thought right now. Who wins the football game?
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah.
I say that. Bama went there and got it done this year. It's I don't think there's do I think there's a big separation between Georgia and Texas? No, I don't. In fact, Texas defense
in a lot of ways.
Yeah, Texas defense may have that may be the best unit in the game.
I think they are. I think they're very similar.
Let's not waste time. We'll preview it on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll get there. We'll get there. All right, for my loser of the weekend, the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Wow.
I mean, Ted, they put together a 12 play, 93-yard touchdown drive. Gronowski goes running into the end zone on 4th and goal. The place is going insane. They take the lead. Now they don't get the two-point conversion, but they take the lead. It's 16-15, the most Iowa score imaginable with 151 left to go in the game. All you need is for your defense, who has been good for it feels like forever, to get one stop in 33 degrees and raining weather. It's like it's the perfect situation for Iowa. It's horrible weather. Your defense has to get one stop. And Dante Moore delivers some of the best throws we've seen all season. My goodness, dude. Just a couple of ridiculous high level throws and some really good plays from some Oregon pass catchers. And they go 10 plays, get into field goal position. And Atticus Sappington, that man, he's back. Game winner for the Ducks. Ducks win at 18-16, and just a painful one for the Iowa Hawkeyes and their fans.
It was brutal. That is like aesthetically, that's my type of football game.
Of course it is.
It just feels like football. The weather's nasty. The crowd is into it. Physical on both sides. Uniforms look great. I mean, now it's one I love watching from the comfort of my own living room, but it was still I got a kick out of that game. That was great. And I thought Dante Moore was great. Couple of big runs that were critical, and you mentioned it, that final drive, he was really good.
And remember, no Decorian Moore for this game. No Sadiq, the tight end. Gary Bryan Jr. went down early, super early, gets banged up in this one. And still, they were able to find a way. They went to Kinnick and rushed for 261. Like Noah Whittington was really good. I thought the run game is what kept them afloat and gave them the opportunity to be able to go on that game-winning drive. But if you're Iowa, man, horrible weather, low-scoring game. It's exactly what you wanted it and needed it to be. It was an old school Big Ten game, and you lost it to Oregon.
Yep.
That's got to be painful, man.
Brutal. It's brutal. And it's nuts. Like you mentioned it, that final drive by Dante Moore he was 13 of 21 on the day, and he completed his final 6 passes.
And a couple of them were, the best way to describe it as I was watching, they were breathtaking throws where I went, I mean, they were just absolute seeds.
He was 7 of 15 going into the final drive. So if you're Iowa, it's like, hey, we got this. We're in a really good position. But that was impressive. I mean, it's not a game that's going to jump out at you statistically. 13 of 21 for 112 yards and an interception. But what he added in the run game that I mentioned, a couple of really nice runs that were crucial for him. And then that final drive, man, that was an impressive win. Iowa's tough to beat. They're tough to beat. Give them credit for that, I guess. But the under Kings.
Oh, they also, their kicker hit a 58-yarder in that weather like it was nothing. It was crazy.
Oh, yeah. That was nuts.
That ball it was like just a piped
rocket
3-wood right down the middle of the fairway. That was unbelievable. But Iowa is now 6-3. The college football playoff hopes are gone, but we need the Hawkeyes to rally. They're at USC next week. Need them to dust themselves off and to take USC in the deep water and to drown them. And give
Yep.
USC their third loss. Come on, Hawkeyes. You can do it.
I like the matchup for them, honestly. I mean, that's the type of if they can drag USC into their type of game, I think they should have some success.
They drag everyone into their type of game.
I know.
It's crazy.
I know it.
Birthday shout outs. Happy 8th birthday to Landon Mattingly.
Happy 9th birthday to Jet Helm.
Happy 10th birthday to Levi Pumphrey.
Happy 33rd birthday to Dylan Watts.
Got a late edition here. Happy 30th birthday to Dalton Wires.
Happy 57th birthday to Cordell Rumsey.
Happy 60th birthday to Michael Grimes.
Happy birthday to Harper Boomer Bilson.
Happy birthday to Dawson Hardesty.
Happy birthday to Brett Vanis.
And happy
Vanice.
birthday. You think it's Vanis, Vanice? Vanis, Van Ice?
Yeah, I think Brett Vanis. Yeah, that's
I don't know.
it.
I've never
Happy
seen that
birthday,
last
Brett.
name in my life. Happy birthday, Brett. Hopefully we got it right. And happy birthday to Kayla Costner Morris. On that note, episode 579 in the books. We'll have a new podcast that'll drop on Wednesday. Clearly, we will preview
Big one.
big one between the Sooners and Crimson Tide. Just a reminder, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, please check out our website, okbreakdown.com, for all of our stuff in one spot. Hope you all have a great start to your week. Until next time, we appreciate you all for listening. Do what you always do, Oklahoma. Take care of each other.